going on, guys? Evan Centopani here, coming to you from Gym State. Today we're gonna crush back. The purpose of the back workout is build muscle, improve endurance and conditioning, and dare I say, done properly, you should be able to build some strength with it too. We're gonna start off with close grip cable rows, and we're gonna superset those with barbell rows. Then we're gonna move on to some lat pull downs, and finally we're gonna superset one arm dumbbell rows with deadlifts. So let's get started. We're gonna begin on the cable rows. We're gonna do 3 sets. The rep's gonna fall anywhere between 10 to 20. We're gonna aim more towards 20, but as the weight increases and the fatigue sets in, it may start to fall closer to 10. When we move into the barbell rows, the muscles are already a little bit fatigued. We're gonna be able to really tax the muscles with a little bit lighter of a weight. On barbell rows, we're gonna aim for anywhere between 6 to 12 reps. Right, we wanna use heavy weight, but we wanna make sure that we're doing enough reps to really exhaust the back. We're gonna make sure that we can move some weight, decent weight over some decent reps. First and foremost, you always want to make sure you get a good stretch. You don't want to totally lean forward too far and arch your back to the point where you're going to hurt it, but you do want to make sure to stretch out all the muscles in your back. At the very peak contraction, try to picture keeping your body straight. What I try to do is almost envision leaning into the movement a little bit, and usually by doing that, I end up just about straight. With a movement like barbell rows, you can't just come in and just pile on the weight. So I'm gonna start a little bit lighter, and as the fatigue sets in and whatnot, then I'm gonna move up the weight, because you definitely have to build up to it. When it comes to a movement like barbell rows, you need to use your back, your glutes, your hamstring. It uses a lot of muscle groups. So keep in mind, you need form that's safe, but you need to move weight. At this point, we're gonna move on to some close grip lat pull downs. In terms of sets and reps, 3 sets, anywhere from 8 to 20 reps. As we start and the weight is a little bit lighter, reps are gonna be a little bit higher, and as the weight builds, the reps are likely gonna drop. Chances are in the last set, we may do a few drops. This will serve to not only give us a little bit of a break of the cable rows and the barbell rows, because after that, our ass is gonna be kicked a little bit. My advice is to try to keep your back as straight as possible. Really almost picture not moving your back at all. Your arms are gonna extend and your lats are gonna stretch, but you're gonna do everything you can to use your lats to move the weight. It's inevitable that you're gonna use some biceps, but don't go leaning back. Try to use your lats as much as possible and keep your back straight. We're gonna move on to one-arm dumbbell rows, superset with deadlifts. Comes to sets and reps, only 2 sets. And on the dumbbell rows, right around 10 to 12, and on the deadlift, same thing, anywhere between 8 and 12. Over the years, I've done dumbbell rows on a bench, I've done them off a rack, and although you can move a hell of a lot more weight doing them off the rack, doing them off a bench with your back more parallel to the ground is a hell of a lot more challenging, and to be honest, I think it is much better for back development. On these deadlifts, because they're part of a superset, the amount of weight that you're using is gonna be reduced. And another thing I like to do to make it more difficult is do incredibly slow negatives. Doing the reps very slow, it completely changes the movement, and the feeling you get in your back is pretty tremendous. I encourage all you guys watching this to try performing the movement this way as part of a superset, and to really slow down your negatives as much as possible. What I like to do when I'm doing isolateral movements, if on one set I begin with the right hand, then on the next round I'll begin with the left, just to kind of even things out a little bit. When you come down on the negative, try to extend your arms slightly, and when you come up, bring the dumbbell out and back towards your hip. I do prefer to deadlift just in my socks. I find it much more stable. And with a movement like the deadlift, it's very important which part of your foot that you're bracing yourself with and where you're pushing. And having just my bare foot, I'm able to concentrate the tension more in my heels, keep the bar very close to my body, and try to use my legs as much as possible on that negative to lower the weight. And as I drive up, really use my back. Although I wouldn't do this workout every week, as often as every other week is fine, there's a full breakdown of this workout for you guys on the page below right here at bodybuilding.com. If you guys have questions for me, you'd like to get in contact with me about training, nutrition, you can find me on Instagram at Centopani. For more free videos and articles from athletes like me, keep coming back to bodybuilding.com.